And I do all my laundry. So a little bit spoiled. And we got into it. I'm thinking, Lord, what's going on? Why is she manifesting? He's like, Rachel, you need to just chill and get out of your emotions. So long story short, we spent the whole night together. By the end of the night, we started talking. And the Lord said, bring up the end times. I'm like, oh, this is going to go over interesting. Yeah, you guys know I'm Jewish. And my mother and most of my family, actually everyone but my brother, rejects that reality, that Jesus is the Son of God. So I said, Mom, have you heard of the RDF chip? Did I pronounce that correctly? I know I said it correctly when I brought it to her. She said, I know all about that, Rachel. I said, you do? She goes, I said, don't ever take it. She goes, I would never take it. And I'm like, blown away by that truth, that she knew that it was she knew it was of Satan. That was pretty much what she said. Wow. And it's beautiful because there are a lot more testimonies about how my mom is discerned. She saw a snake coming out of Obama when he was being elected. She saw Trump walking down. She's like, he was like royalty. She's like, you look like a king. I'm not kidding. She's a prophet and evangelist, just doesn't know it yet. So I'm thanking you, Lord, that my mother's salvation is knocking at the door. Yes, and she can cook for us all. Thank you, Jesus.
Yes. And he said in the last days, God's going to have the last word. So some of you get ready to say that word. Now, I don't know what may happen. Don't look beyond that. God's used your mouth, your voice. And you know what's going on. And when you get involved with Israel, it's all about Israel. You get involved with Israel, find out what God's doing with the Jewish people, then you'll understand everything else is going on. It's all connected. Everything's connected. And when they find out how much you love them, I've never had a problem witnessing to a Jew. I keep telling you that. I never have a problem. I think I'm going to go to sleep on every airplane when I come from Israel. I hear this little tap on my shoulder. Excuse me, can I talk to you? And I thought, Lord, I need a little nap. And then they start talking, and then you forget all about sleep because it's so interesting. But they're getting hungry now. I would tell you, sister, I was in Israel at Passover, and there wasn't any traffic moving. It was Shabbat, and we were 2 miles from the house, and they wanted $40 to take us there. I said, no, I can't pay you that much money. It's too much money. He was an Arab driver. And I'm trying to find if somebody will take us down and give him $20 at least. And this Jewish man had just come from the wall. He was a rabbi. And out of nowhere, he looks at me, he said, you're Jewish, aren't you? Tell me you're Jewish. I said, I got a Jewish heart. He said, that's good.
That's good enough.
Every Jewish person that thinks I'm Jewish. And that's good. You know, I'm trying to figure out what it is. But anyway, I told you that whole story. But don't think how you're going to minister to them. They'll see Yeshua HaMashiach in you. They will see it. I'm telling you, they'll see it.
Yes, they will.
And one of them wanted to marry me until he found out I was Pentecost. He said, can I write you? We were coming all the way across the Atlantic, you know. And he said, can I write you? And I thought, oh, I'm going to lose him as a friend forever if I tell him I'm Pentecost. So I said, okay. So he wrote me a letter and said he would like to marry me. Well, I was younger then. And I wrote him back. I said, well, I'm a Christian. I'm a Christian, and I'm a nice Pentecostal girl. I never heard from him anymore. But I prayed that God would open his heart. Open his heart. So get yourself ready. As a prophetic act, pack a suitcase. And don't keep going in and out of it. Pack it. Get it ready. Say, now, Lord, and get prayed out. Get fasted. And say, Lord, now I'm ready. If I were any of you, I would find a couple of friends. You will sharpen each other while you're going. Believe me, that means you'll do things that will upset the other person. Because when you go on tours, they put you in rooms with people you don't know. And believe me, you'll learn a lot about yourself. So find somebody who's a good friend. Get 2 or 3. I would say 3. And I can teach you the ropes real quick. You will go on a holiday with the Lord, and you'll dance there, and you'll swim back. I'm telling you. The change, the learning, the education. When you put your feet on the soil, God turns on heaven. Wow. You just think different. You think different. Everything about it's different. You become a different person. I'm just telling you this. And if you want to go, it'll cost you about, for airfare, you can do something for $1,000. From here, probably you have to have a domestic ticket, but you can find something, they'll connect it for you. That's what they do. They'll mark off a bunch of seats. These tours are people coming from other cities, and they can get it cheaper because they're going on a tour. I went over there last time. There was domestic and an international flight. Not the last time, but 2012 for $1,200. I didn't have any spending money, and before I left that prayer meeting that day, for 2 weeks, God allowed me to have 21 $100 bills, so I had 21 $100. Well, one of the girls only had $700 for spending money, so that meant I was to share mine. I knew that when I got it. And the other girl that paid the ticket, it was so strange. I'd said that morning to God, he said it just like this, God, it's May the 12th and I haven't been to Israel this year. Well, I haven't been for 10 years. And I mean, God made me do that because I just felt I had to go. I was desperate. God wanted me to go. I went to church, sit down, third seat. The girl on the end said something about Israel, and I thought she said, I'll pay your way to Israel, but I didn't want to say that to her if she didn't say that. And I said, oh, you want to go to Israel? She said, yeah, and I'll pay you way if you'll take me. She paid the airfare. And so we ate off the streets. The delicatessen was right across from our room. We stayed in the Arab hostel. Honey, it was an adventure that I can't talk about. But listen, it changed a lot in me. And we would eat sandwiches, yogurt. We had one meal. It was $125 for 3 of us, so that was the only big meal we had. But you know, you learn to eat. Like you can eat pate, drink juice. You can take cans of tuna with you if you want to save money. Chicken. Yeah, we took coffee because they had a kitchenette, so we took coffee. I had some coffee cups. Some of them had napkins, some of them had plasticware. I mean, you rough it a little, but you don't see all that because of all the glories going on in your life. Or it's $300 a day for a room if you want to do it otherwise. They have hostels. They have a Catholic church. At one of the gates, I can give you all the gates where you go, and they serve pizza. They serve, yeah, you'd like that. They serve American food. It's $50 a day, including your food. That's good. If you two brothers are going out the door, you think about it. Think about it. If you haven't been, you could do it. And you'll be glad, because I know people want comforts, they want to be taken care of, but you can rough it, you know, just take simple clothes, you don't have to take dress clothes, and you don't need that much money, and God wants you to go, it'll fall in your hands. You hear me? It'll come. But when you go to Israel, you can't do your own thing. You have to respect this country. You don't give out tracts, but you can minister to people. God has made it where you can do it. In fact, we were looking for direction one day. We heard of a place where they have worship right near the Jaffa Gate. And this man comes across here. I couldn't find anybody to talk to who spoke English. He comes across there, and he's got his little tallit hanging out, you know. And I said, sir, I heard there's a place that you can worship around here. It's close by, but I don't know exactly where it is. Well, I'm standing on the side of the street it's on. It's down the hill on the same side, and it's in a building just straight down the hill, but it's in a basement door. He said, I can talk to you. I'm a Christian too. That's what he said to me. I didn't say a word about being a Christian. He said, I'm a converted Christian too. Hallelujah. So he said, right there's the building you're looking for. But see how God set that all up. I'm just telling you these stories that makes you hungry to want to go. I hope it pulls on you so bad at night, you're weeping at the gates to get there, because it'll change your life for 1,000 days in any other court. It's 1,000 days of new life. Jerry, did you feel that way going there? I don't know how much you... Were you with the Baptist group when you went?
It was just mixed.
Oh, we get a bunch of spiritual people together.
With a lot of people on
yes, that's right.
Some of them got healed. And,
they come back with this doctrine. We can do that. I'll never forget that. Yeah. We can do that.
I was here a few years ago with a couple of friends, and you told us we're going to Israel. And we went last year.
Did you enjoy it?
Oh, yes. I cried when I left.
Yes. It's like home. You left home.
Yeah. It's so peaceful. It was so... I can't explain it.
They've restored it. They've really restored it a lot. And it's like people are not strangers anymore, because when you went in, they checked you so much you didn't think you wanted to go. They're just checking you and watching you. So anyway, Find you a couple of friends. 3 go. 3's good. 3's good. And you know, I'd go with somebody who wears the same size. They can wear my clothes, and I can wear theirs. I'm telling you, this is what it's all about. We went to a wedding. I don't want to tell you all the details. We went to a wedding one time. We did the wedding, Michelle and I. And she did the music, rather. I had other meetings up near Prescott somewhere. And so we were invited for Michelle to play at the wedding. And here comes the bride. She said, I left some things at home. I thought, oh, what does she need? I can't tell you everything. She and Michelle went in the back. They were the same size. She had forgot her slip and a few other things, so Michelle just had to come back and continue with the wedding. You will be willing to do everything when a Jerusalem experience comes into your life. I'm telling you, the living creatures will visit you. You won't see it at first, but then you'll begin to see how quick, just like answers come. You'll hear the voice of God so easy, so easy. The other day, God answered me 10 times in 2 minutes, and I didn't realize it. The answers just kept coming. I could hear these whispers of the living creatures. It is, yes?
Sister, can you tell the story about my husband being in the upper room when we were there?
Oh, we went to the upper room. I was looking at the pictures yesterday. It was like heaven came down. There were several women. This is what I thought when I looked at them. I never saw such an expression of God. And this one woman, she called me. One of the ladies called me. I hadn't seen her for years, and I'd asked the Lord where she was recently. And she called me on the phone telling me where she was in Kansas. Could she talk to me? I said, you're the one that had the face of God on you in the upper room. Okay, her face looked, I thought when I looked at her, I don't know what you did with the picture, can't find it. But I did it on a regular camera. Can't find the film. I said to the Lord when I looked at her, if you had a sister, Lord, this woman would look like you. Her face, she opened up to God. I never saw anything like it. It was like a well exploded. The look of her cry to God from her spirit. There were 3 of them there. Martha and Laura, you were with us also. So we go to the upper room, but wasn't there another group there also? There was 2 of them. I don't really know what happened. It was like they were holding up the columns and the walls, the people. Some were out on the floor, smack on their faces. Some were they were actually twisted around the big columns. Now this looks like something that Jan Crouch would do, that type of artwork, you know, because one of their buildings had the upper room look to it. The Arabs went in and they changed it, but it still looks beautiful. The work that they did. He was up against the wall, wasn't he?
No, laid out.
Yeah, no, but first he was like, the wall was holding him up. And then he's flat out. I thought, oh, truly, something has happened in this house today. Because some people, it's not that they're just not into it yet, you know. But he was laid out. Most of the people were laid out on their faces. They couldn't help it. Some of them slid down the wall. Some were sitting in the wall with their hands in their face. He had an experience with God. He's a very quiet man, very quiet. And I said, Lord, if it was just for this sight, just for this one look, it was worth all that we did.
Because we weren't worshiping, we weren't.
It just hit us.
We were just kind of there, not very long, and Sister
Exploded.
Ruth said, "Look at your husband." I mean, he was all by himself.
It exploded. Everybody in the place, they were either facing the wall, holding up the wall, wrapped around a column, on their face. Some were sitting in the floor, holding their head in their hands.
There were no catchers.
No catchers.
Angels.
And it was all cement. But it was a wonderful experience because a lot of the tourists don't enter into that realm. They just don't do it. But see, that's what happened. That's where they heard from God. That's another 10 days of testing, remember? But I was blessed. Listen, I was blessed when I saw him. Do you have some pictures of him like that? I'll let you look at my pictures and you can have them. But you want to have it. You want to have an experience at Jerusalem, it's called. A Jerusalem experience where you're taught by the angels. Okay? All right. We love you. We bless you. Thank you for staying. He that endures to the end. Okay, we'll catch up with you later. How many are glad you came today? I've never seen God put roses around somebody's face. They were big, beautiful, this beautiful pink. I could smell the fragrance all the way up here. God's about to honor you. I just saw him give you a bouquet of flowers. I saw that the other day over a lady, and she got a check for $1,100 that same day. I said, God's going to honor you. He's about to honor you. I saw him hand you these long stem flowers. Praise you, Lord. It's going to come in different dimensions, not just one time, but it'll come in different dimensions. The blessing of the Lord. The blessing of the Lord. The blessing of the Lord. Sister, if you go to Israel now, you need to get 2 people as happy as you are, because they won't be able to take it. You've got to go. You're ripe for it. You're ripe. You know, it's R-I-P-E. Ripe. I told the Lord I would just die if I couldn't go to Israel. I don't know today who gave me the suitcase. I don't know today who... I wasn't receiving much money in those days. I wasn't in full-time ministry. I don't know where the money came from. It was $2,600. We left from the East Coast. I don't know how it all came. I didn't have clothes and somebody gave me clothes. I had enough money for 1 roll of films and $10. And somebody's camera broke when we were in Egypt, and I got 3 rolls of film. You see how God worked?
Yes.
They'd been before.
Sister Ruth, just before Miriam left and her friend left, she whispered over to me and said she had received a check in the mail for $3,000.
Hallelujah! 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 Come on! Hallelujah! 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 Lord, you have a little pain on your face sometimes. Now listen to what's happening. You got to know what's happening, or you won't move forward. That means God's operating. You're having an operation. Anybody? You know, sometimes you look at something and think, why is this happening? Why doesn't this change? And what's happening here? And I saw it on a few faces when I got to give word this morning. It's like, you know, will this test ever end? But God's operating. You're having an operation. He's taking something out and he's putting something in. Let him do it. How many will let him do it?
I'm going to let him
I wish Richard could play for 2 more hours. I could dance and dance and dance.
Dance all night.
Da 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 da. Make your own rhythm.
Make your own
There's times that we sing in here. How many felt the rush on the music? And something has happened, and I could see it. I could see. Here's how the wheels were going. One was going one way, the wheel and the wheel. It was glory in us, burning, and something was happening. I don't mean just mean you're getting the blessing from the Lord. He's changing something. He's after somebody.
Yes.
He's saving
Yes.
somebody. He's delivering
Yes.
somebody.
Hallelujah.
Your prayers are being
Hallelujah.
answered. He's working
Yes.
a miracle.
Yes.
Listen, this is what's happened when you have these spills in the Spirit, when they're moving like this. You understand? He's doing great and mighty and
Yes.
wonderful
Yes.
things.
Hallelujah. Hallelujah.
Wonderful things.
Hallelujah.
Wonderful things. You've got to know it or you're wasting your time.
Thank
We're
you,
wasting our
Jesus.
time.
Thank
You
you.
don't want to go where nothing happens and you come home and you haven't changed and your heart is not burning inside of you like the 2 on the road to Emmaus. Somebody said the other day that the 2 on the road to Emmaus, listen, it parallels when Joseph and Mary was looking for Jesus and didn't know he was with them. They did not know Jesus had just spoken to them. And then their hearts, they said later to each other, they were husband and wife. Didn't our hearts burn inside of us when he spoke? And that's what the Holy Ghost does when he speaks. It brands you, honey. It puts his name on you. His name. He wants you to carry his name.
Amen.
He
Thank
said,
you,
for those
Jesus.
that have not denied
Yes.
my name. Do you know
Praise
what he
you.
says about that?
Praise
He
you,
said, with
Jesus.
long life, good health, and satisfaction,
Yes.
I will take care of you because you have honored my name
Yes.
and who I am and believed
Yes.
in me.
Yes. Hallelujah. Hallelujah.
Earlier in the meeting, I got a vision, and it just continues to build line upon line. And I heard the Lord say, some of you are in confusion, overwhelmed by the cares of your world. And then I saw Jesus as his giant eagle. And I also believe this is for some people who may have lasted till the end of these videos online. And he said, hop on, let me take you up higher. To see the big picture, that I have a plan, a perfect plan, and every high and every low shall be for my glory. And then Sister Ruth just said something about the praises that Richard released through the music. And she had said, play a song of praise. And I just saw the music that he started to play. It was like a wind of the Spirit. And it was going higher and higher. And the Lord is saying it's going to be effortless. It's going to be effortless. He said, let me lift you higher. Let me lift you higher. This will not be in your own strength or understanding. But I have everything you need. Yes. And earlier this week, I woke up and I saw a map of the world. And all of a sudden I saw this big fire over Israel. And it was a cloud of glory and fire. And then when Sister Ruth gave the word about Canada and France, it's like it hit me like something literally hitting me. And I felt a fire coming from seeing this map of Canada and France. And there's French speakers in Canada, and there's French speakers naturally in France. But then he showed me Africa, and there's French-speaking nations there. And I saw the Lord releasing a refining fire over the French-speaking people. And he's calling for people to intercede for the French-speaking nation.
What you feel about France again?
Well, when you just said Canada and France, it's like it hit me out of the blue. I mean, I just saw, it hit me like a fire. And I saw a map of Canada, and I saw a map of France, and then I saw French-speaking countries down in Africa. There's one country called Togo. It's spelled to-go. To-go. And the Lord was saying he was calling for intercessors for these French-speaking people, and it was like a fire that hit me. I pray for a lot of different nations, and Israel in particular. And it was just that he's about to send a cleansing, refining fire over the French-speaking world, and that fire that I saw over Israel. As we were dancing for Israel, things kind of slowed down, and I said, Lord, you're going to have to take me higher. And he just showed me that yes, it seemed like everyone was going every which way, and these elections have been like the whole country's going in Israel every which way. But the Lord was saying, no, Israel, my glory cloud will bring it all into divine order. My glory cloud will release the winds of my spirit over my people. And I will bring you to that higher place where you see my plans for you. And they're plans for good and not for evil, says the Lord.
See, this is the second time they've been trying. They made them vote again because they didn't think that it was proper. Everything was proper. So that it's been they're voting right now, and it's right on the edge. It's so close they can't even announce it. But Netanyahu knew he was born for this time. He knows that. He believes that, and he believes in a lot of the prophetic. Well, when I woke up, and of course Trudeau is it Trudeau? Is that his name? He's French. But when I woke up, this was before all this happened yesterday. This was before yesterday. I woke up hearing France, France, France. I didn't say it once, I said it 4 times. France, France, France. So, but France is also like neighbors to Germany. And those two countries outside of the Arab nations will be nations that will attack Israel. I mean, you see it when they show those creatures or those animals, you see the wings of a fowl on the back of the leopard. Well, the leopard represents Germany, and the rooster is the animal for France.
Yep, yep.
And of course you see that where the wings were on top of the lion, which represented Canada and the United States.
Yep.
So God doesn't have to say 1,000 things or 1,000 words. Remember he said one day is like 1,000, 1,000 is like one day. He can do it quickly, but you have revelation in you by knowing God. That's why we encourage you to dance and sing all the time. There's a knowing that comes in the glory. It's in the glory realm. A knowing, because the glory is who he is. That's his presence. And so there's just, you just know what's happening. It's like your mind just, it pops like popcorn. I don't know how else to tell you this. It just pops into your mind. And you know the devil is not going to tell you anything good. You know that. So, but I know there's something about to happen.
Yes,
There's a scripture that says, Russia says to her allies, come, let us go down. She's unwalled and she has no protection. Now we can take her. But they forgot about there was one person over it all that was watching all of it.
Right.
The Lord Jesus is
Amen.
watching all of it.
Amen.
And he knows our thoughts and we know
Yes.
our plans. He knows, and he just sits and watches people. He looks to see the degree in which they move. And he just stops at something. He sends a prophet in, or he sends a trauma, he sends a tragedy, he sends a storm. Do you know what I'm saying?
Yes.
And he stops everything.
Yep, yep.
How many have seen that?
Yeah.
Yes, I've
He
seen
took the Hebrew children into Babylon so he could teach these stiff-necked people a way to be delivered.
Yes.
You know, they went in and got the best, the Hebrew children. Daniel, the most
Yes.
handsomest, smartest, wisest people.
Yeah.
Well, they thought they were going to rule the world. Just follow up on all these great people.
Yeah.
Alexander the Great, just read all about them. They thought they were going to rule the world, but God lets them do their thing for a little while. Then he lays a net for them. Then he brings them down. And Paul was like on a high horse when he met the Lord on the road to Damascus. And he said, you realize he said, who art thou, Lord? That's the first thing he said. Who art thou, Lord? He realized it. And then Jesus spoke to him. And remember, he told, was it Cornelius? He said, you go down and speak to him. And he said, Lord, this man kills people. He said, not now, he can't see. I mean, you gotta laugh with God. You gotta laugh with God.
Knocked him off his
He's not gonna bother you right now. He got his hands set. Amen. Well, thank you all for coming.
Yeah.
We could swoon with
Yeah.
the Lord all day.
Yeah.
It's not a good term.
Yeah. No, it's not. It's
Well, God has to take the natural thinking out of him first.
Yeah.
People think in the natural. I mean, I hear him use these earthly terms, and you don't apply that to the Lord. But when you're in the glory, there's a lot of things you can't say otherwise, because it covers it. It hides it. It covers you. It puts you in a secret place.
Yeah.
But when that day when he told Michelle and I to sing, let me call you sweetheart, we're having a big meeting. I mean, we had a big crowd there. I said, Lord, these people will think we're all crazy now. And he said, sing it. Well, the people were so in the spirit, they didn't even know what they were singing. They were throwing drop cloths everywhere, flags, running around the building. But listen, there was a nugget in that word. This wasn't just telling us to get ourselves strong by dancing and having a good time. So I went home that night and I said, Lord, what was that all about? He didn't say a word. We came back that night and a girl walked from the back to the front. She actually had the color you had on, but it was rich lace. It was ivory lace. It was a wedding dress. And she stood and watched Sister Ruth like this. We had a little gate on the side, and she's standing there like this through the whole meeting. And we didn't ask her to sit down because we realized she didn't know what was going on. Didn't bother us, so we let her stand for an hour. And Ruth finally said, she's come to get married. And then I knew why we were singing Let Me Call You Sweetheart that morning. This is 8 o'clock at night. That was 10 o'clock in the morning. And she'd come to get married, and her husband-to-be didn't want to get married. He was against it. They were cohabitating together, and he didn't want to get married. But something happened to her. And she comes up to me and she said, who are you people? They weren't married yet. I said, well, we're Christians. Have you ever been to church before? She said, no. I said, well, how'd you find us? She said, in the telephone directory. She said, but I feel like I've known you people all of my life. She got saved in a moment.
Wow. Wow.
That's all right. Well, they get up in the front. We had 3 preachers to take care of them. One instructed them, the other one preached to them, and the other one gave them some advice. He was sitting there like this. Oh, give him some money. He's got to go. Richard. And he's sitting here like this with jeans on, and she's in that beautiful dress. See, you need to know these things, how God works, and then you're a laughing matter. Come on, you laugh yourself to sleep. And he's like this. Move me if you can. That's how he was, waiting for the marriage. One hand on his hip, his leg out like this with his jeans on, like he just got out of the truck. And you wonder how the story's going to end. And while the preachers are talking, he started crying. Honey, it ran out of his nose. It was all over his face, on his clothes. Nobody got upset. Nobody gave him a tissue. We let him break ground, honey. Let him break ground. God is working in their heart. By the end, he had his hands up like this. He pulled his feet together. I saw him do it. Pulled his feet together. Now, she asked me who we were before they got married. And, we said they've come to get married. And I watched them through the whole meeting. The glory came in that room, and it leaped on that couple. Did the work in a moment. In a moment. It only takes one kiss from the Lord.
Amen. Amen. Yes, it does.
Wow.
Hallelujah.
Sister Ruth, could I share a word? I mean, you can give Richard his microphone, but I'm pretty loud. But I believe it fits right in with where you were just before this story. You were talking about how God spoke to you about 9/19/19.
That's when I had to go.
Well, this actually happened to me 2 days ago. The Lord told me that 9/19/19 was a prophetic number. And so I went to Psalm 9, verses 19, and this is what the Lord was telling. To back that up with, all the prayer meetings that we've gone to for the last week and a half have been off the charts, like these ones. Some of the other prayer meetings we go to aren't as wild, or whatever you want to say, as this one is. But in the last week and a half, all the prayer meetings that we've been to have been fantastic. And the Lord was speaking to me. First I heard the Lion of Judah is getting ready to roar. So then I go, okay, Lord. So I go up and I look up Psalm 9, verse 19. It says, "Arise, O Lord, do not let," and we were all praying for the elections in Israel for the last, couple of weeks, and just like you've been doing. And it says, "Do not let man prevail. Let the nations be judged in your sight. Put them in fear, O Lord, that the nations may know themselves to be but men." And I really believe that God has been saying to not only me, but you and other people, that He's getting ready to do something really big. And the nations are going to say, God is in charge. Because of what's happening in Israel.
It's because we're in these special days. See, it's the feast.
Absolutely.
And that was the beginning of it. And I look forward to it. I look forward to this time of year because I know God's going to say what He wants to say. And He's preparing us. And the more we rejoice in Him, the more quickly He's going to move. Because it's time to come into place. It's wonderful that you recognize it. See, this is the thing. You have to recognize what's happening. Just not that God decides to visit us. He's preparing. It's a preparation. Now, you got one of these seats.
Oh, I got it.
It's unfinished, but we were in a roll. The Lord told me one day I was in a roll. I said, Lord, that's a whirling song. I can't want to use that word. I know you know what you're doing. But He said, you're on a roll. That's how He said it. So I'd understand. And anyway, Richard made these copies. I'm not going to charge you like one more. Give them away.